Welcome to Buckets. My name's MattMoore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. This is your daily NBA Best Bets episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Thanks for joining us. I'm joined tonight. No Jim Turvey. He's out picking radishes in the Vermont countryside in the midnight field surrounded by witches who are chanting his name as they throw incense into the air. Can you throw incense into the air? But if you can, that's what Jim Turvey is doing tonight. I'm joined by Joe Dellera as always, because Joe actually is serious about this show and cares about it. He's at Joe Dellera. He's on the Cash That podcast. I'm also joined by Bryan Fonseca, because Bryan loves talking futures. So we're going to do futures, the future Jays here with Bryan Fonseca filling in tonight. You can catch him at Bryan Fonseca NY. You can catch him on the New York Post YouTube channel. You can catch them a lot of Knicks content from Bryan. He does content about international basketball. He does content about combat sports. Bryan is a well-versed individual in the sporting life, so you should follow him as well. You can follow both these guys in the Action Network app, which you should download right now and get signed up for pro subscription. And you can get instant bets from stuff like Brandon Anderson as he continues to cook on NFL futures. You can get Joe Dellera's props. You can get Sean Kerner's props. You can get Grant Niefer's props. Which have been like auto plays for me. Anything Grant touches, I'm just like, sure, yep, that sounds good. Grant's been absolutely killing it. Make sure to check him out in the Action Network app. A couple other podcasts, if you're not listening to the favorites, because our guy Brandon Kravitz hosts that show. It's a great fun. It's a really fun, different show than it was. Still love the guys that used to do it, but it's still a very fun show with Stuckey and Kravitz and their new co-host as well. So you can go ahead and check that out. Make sure to check out the Action Network podcast. Brandon Anderson's on there twice a week. He does a Sunday night recap as well as his Thursday Best Bets pod. You got Jill Gallant that goes on there and does the touchdown props, all sorts of great stuff. Check it out wherever you get podcasts. If you're watching at youtube.com/the Action Network, please give us a like and subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, take a second, just like a second. You're not doing anything. You're at a stoplight. Let's be real. You're at a stoplight or you're on the train. Go ahead, go give us a 5-star review. We will have a future of the week for you tonight, and we will start, gents, by talking a little bit about division future. So we're early on in the season, and one of the things that has been pretty traditional over the last couple of years is the books are always slow to adjust off their power rating, which makes sense. You don't want to get too far away from your priors just because a team plays well for a couple of weeks. Like, remember when the Jazz won a couple games early? That was fun. That was neat, and now they are, the Jazz. So there's like lots of different ways to kind of look at this and approach it. We've got at DraftKings Sportsbook a number of different futures to look at. Let's start with Bryan Fonseca's favorite, the Southeast Division, because Heat Money Life is not just a bet, it's a way of life. We gave out that's the one that's not up at DraftKings right now. We gave out Heat to win that division over the summer. Like, that was like where we settled at, was just like, yeah, there's really no way to get around it. You got to be in on Heat Southeast Division if you're not totally sold on the Magic. As it currently stands as of this morning, DraftKings, the Magic were plus 145, the Hawks plus 170, the Heat plus 280. That's down from 18 to 1, I'm sorry, when we bet it. The Hornets at 40 to 1, which Bryan, you're not allowed to make a case for the Hornets. I'm sorry, I'm banning you for making any more cases on the Hornets. And the Wizards, my poor Wizards, at 100 to 1. Bryan, who do you think has been more off expectation, Magic or Hawks?
It's probably easily Orlando.
Yeah.
I think with Atlanta, the issue is because we talked about, hey, they look kind of good without Trae Young. What's happening here? And he'll miss a little bit more time. But there's more for me. Like, I'm more worried about Orlando because I expected, like many other people did, Desmond Bane to get in there and for the fit to make more sense. But if Paolo Banchero is not playing efficiently, if he's not really all that consistent, if he's missing mid-range jumpers and his game is still very clunky, he's like a clunky Carmelo Anthony, which I don't even know how that makes sense, right? Like, it's like a version of him that's slower, more methodical in a league where everyone's trying to play faster, and they're playing faster too. But I'm still seeing too much ISO. I'm still not seeing Desmond Bane, for example, like be that complementary piece. Like how they had KCP last year to help quell some of this, and he shot the ball like shit all year long and wasn't quite, a fit after a while, and then they moved on from him. So now you get Desmond Bane, and it's like, all right, this is the shooter now, and now this isn't working, although he had a pretty good game recently.
Yeah.
So I'm a little more concerned about that. And we talked about earlier this year as it relates to, speaking of futures coach of the year, where it's like Jamal Mosley, you could bet him for first coach fired and for coach of the year, because he might be one or the other. And if this doesn't turn around in a swift way, then he might be out in a few weeks or whatever it is. And I also think this is a question that I would like to ask you both. Is this now like the best buy low spot you're going to get on Orlando to win the division? Because now they're plus money. They were overly favored before. It hasn't moved a ton, but like it's moving in the direction of, hey, we got to respect Miami. We got to respect Atlanta. Right now, like I wonder if this is the buy low spot. I kind of think it's still a little bit early, but maybe I'm wrong.
I just don't really like their shot profile at all. They are, and a lot of that has to do with kind of the way that they're playing. So, I mean, they're scoring 92.6 points per like 100 plays in the half court, which is 24th in the league. And it kind of aligns with what their shot profile is, because they have an expected effective field goal percentage of 56.4% based on the location, right? But the problem is they're only shooting 53.7%. A lot of their shots are coming from the rim, which is good, but they are taking the fourth fewest threes in terms of frequency. And that's like a problem. Like I don't know where the threes are going to come from. So I don't really know what kind of offensive ceiling you have here, because even in Memphis, I feel like we were screaming at like the clouds saying that Desmond Bane needed to shoot more threes. And then that's just like not what he does. It's just not what we see. So then now you bring him over to Orlando, expecting him to fix that. And then you're kind of dealing with a situation where there's not like a great point guard option. So then I think that's why you get these clunky Paolo possessions. And there's a lot of Paolo Franz, like your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Some of it works, but I mean, it's like even just the last two games that they played against Boston. One game, Franz has a great game. Paolo, meh. Next game, exact same matchup. Paolo, great game. Franz, meh. Like they really struggle to both have good games at the same time. And that seems to be a problem. I don't know. And like Desmond Bane is not the reason for that. That's been something that's been going on for years now. I don't know if this team can necessarily turn the corner, or like if there's anything that I'm seeing that's like they should turn the corner.
I think it's probably going to just be like a gradual thing. The question is just like, are they going to build themselves too much of a hole? Like, are they going to be so deep in it? Like I was very close to betting Boston today. I was on the under and that cashed because Boston tends to respond under Missoula to losses, especially where they give up big scoring totals, by buckling down and like playing defense. And sure enough, Orlando gets 107 tonight at home. But this is also like, this is a good indicator that Orlando is not in that tier of like, this is not a 50-win team, at least not right now. Like they can go on the run, but that's what it's going to take, is like they're going to have to make some sort of run in December, January, March, where it's like, oh man, the Magic have won 11 of 13. Because night by night, like this to me is an excellent kind of encapsulation spot. Teams that win at home and then have the duplex spot versus the same opponent crush. It's the exact opposite if you win at home and then have to go on the road. But if you get them again, if you're favored and then favored again and you won and you covered, your rate's like 60% in that next game. And instead, Orlando has a lead, loses it, and Boston, with their terrible defense, is able to go ahead and get this win. Actually, their defense is surprisingly decent. But like that to me is like an indicator of where Orlando's at. Like they're just not in that tier. So I think the question then becomes, okay, if not, then whomst? And like I still come out with Miami, because I just think, Brian, do we have, what's the word on Bam?
That's the concern for me, right?
Yeah.
Now it's a toe sprain. I don't know if it's a grade 2, because if it's a grade 2, which I think coincidentally Desmond Bain had before. Like toe sprain could be a month. So it's like a very broad thing. And, it's the NBA. So we're only going to get so many details, especially from the Heat, who tend to be secretive about these things. So he's listed officially as day-to-day, but we've all seen in the NBA, day-to-day could literally be months. I don't think it's going to be the case for this specific injury, but day-to-day is what we're working with right now.
When's Tyler's return?
Supposedly could be later this month.
Okay. I think the thing to do is to wait until we get the Tyler Hero will make his debut. Shams tweet. And then if Orlando has not turned it around by then we bet Orlando or Atlanta, depending on how you feel. Like that to me will be the low point because they'll be like, oh, hey, and they're getting hot.
Oh,
Miami's ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, Miami's is already in the lead, and they're getting Hero back. You want to fade Hero, not just because of how much Bryan Fonseca hates that young man.
That's not true.
Because there's always that adjustment period when you add a high usage player back into a system.
Oh, I think he's definitely high usage. Yes.
It's not what they're doing either.
Like even if we take out the hero-ness of it, like take out the hero of all of it, just to random insert star player here. That adjustment always comes with growing pains and a little bit of like, we don't know what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Especially with a system that's different from what they were doing with that player beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting if we look at the schedule adjusted stuff, because I was a little bit surprised with where some of the numbers kind of shake out on these kind of things. Orlando's 5th in adjusted defensive rating and only 12th in net. Like,
yeah, I saw that.
So that's by far the best in this division.
You're saying there's a chance. There's hope.
Yeah, I'm basically saying that like they may not be as bad as they seem. They're actually not as bad by far. The Hawks are 13th.
Yeah, they're all like kind of close though. Even Miami's 14th. But then there's no Bam. Like if there's no Bam, the defense isn't going to be 4th.
I was ready to go all in on the Hawks without Trae Young. I was like ready to take it up, just fire off these takes and be out here like with this team. And then they let Toronto just beat the snot out of them and they couldn't score at all in the second half.
Yeah.
Of Friday night's cup game. And that was a really bad look, to be honest, for Atlanta. I still like the way they're playing though.
Can we Matt, maybe you more so specifically, but like I think we should talk about, because this is a futures conversation, who would be more likely to deal in season and who has sort of what avenues to do that between these three teams. Because if there's going to be a separator, maybe it comes via trade instead of one team just getting their shit together.
Orlando, I feel like Orlando can't. Orlando made their trade. Like unless you're going to trade one of your key pieces in.
They have other contracts. I don't know what that deal is, but they have other contracts.
Yeah, and I mean, is Orlando a tax team? Like, are they gonna do that?
They're not a second apron team, no.
That's what I mean. Like, so I mean, it's like, how many more moves can they really make? I think it would be. I would be more likely to believe that things aren't materializing properly closer to the deadline, and they sell those pieces for like anything.
The other thing here is if we're talking about a division future. Because I don't think there's no trade any of those teams can make that's going to make me want to bet them to win the East or the title.
No.
Not even Lauri Markkanen?
No.
Okay.
There's nothing any of them can do. Even if we're talking about from a regular season division perspective, again, I go back to if you make that huge trade, guess what happened? Like the Pacers traded for Pascal Siakam when they were on a West Coast road trip, and they lost like 4 of 5 because they were just like, Tyrese was banged up and in and out of the lineup. And it was like, we don't know how to play with him. He just got here. We have no idea what we're doing. And that hurts you when you're trying to win a division. Like you need to be usually those division winners are pretty clear cut.
Yeah.
So as much as I think the trades are interesting, like if the Hawks came out of this, let's say the Hawks win 5 out of their next 6, and it does prompt like a holy crap, which I don't know if that's going to happen. But let's say that did happen. And they traded Trae. You're only trading Trae for a major component. And if you trade for a major component, you have to figure out what you're doing. Like you have to not start from zero, but you're starting from close to it about building your structure.
Yeah. Because like they ironically have a structure that's like good enough without Trey. But like you'd obviously want to replace somebody. And then there obviously are going to be certain circumstances where you're like, boy, I wish we had a real point guard right now. And that just sometimes that just doesn't materialize during the season, but then it can change, even in the postseason. So makes it a lot more difficult.
I don't know if it's Trey. That probably seems a little too dramatic. Like, I don't know if it's any of the teams like really like their best players, but Orlando, for example, so they have the Isaac contract, which I don't know if anybody's going to want because it's long term. It's 15 million roughly basically for the next 4 years, although the last year is not fully guaranteed. And Wendell Carter, who I don't think they would trade right now. Luka got traded, so but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're like dying to get rid of him right now. He's at 10-8, but then his extension kicks into 18, 19, 21. So good luck trying to get somebody to take that right now. Goga is at 8.3 and he's on a short-term contract. I don't know what they're going to do with Anthony Black, but I wouldn't be like dying to move off of him right now. Tyus Jones is one, but who would want that contract right now in their door? And then with Miami more so, because Atlanta, it's a little more difficult because I don't think they're trading like Okongwu or Nickeil Alexander-Walker, at least right now. Porzingis is a $30 million expiring. That's kind of interesting, but I don't think we have the capacity to even go down that rabbit hole right now. But with Miami, it's like the hero thing, I don't think is going to be a mid-season thing. I think that's going to be an off-season thing. Either they extend him or they just wait it out. Or they decide to move off him.
John Morant, like who knows?
Like I don't know if that's going to be a midseason thing. I kind of lean no on that. And then it's like Wiggins. What do you do with him? Simone Fontecchio is at $8 million expiring, and they have some young guys now that they didn't have a couple of years ago. So I think there are pieces that these teams can play with, but will it greatly affect futures? I don't know. I feel like the biggest name we'll be talking about at the trade deadline. Or by the trade deadline, it might be like Laurie, maybe John Morant. And I don't know how much those guys would move the needle in their new spots, but it also depends on what's outgoing for them.
All right. We're going to talk about our DraftKings Sportsbook Future of the Week coming up in just a sec. The Buckets podcast is teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, and 3 months of NBA League Pass. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. To get started, use promo code BUCKETSNBA when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code BUCKETSNBA when signing up and bet $5 to get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. Plus 3 months of NBA League Pass. The crown is yours. All right. Speaking of DraftKings Sportsbook and speaking of futures, it's time for our future of the week. Brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Let's see if I can get the graphics right here from us on the show. Okay. So we will break this down. It's the Pistons to win the Central Division plus 500. Joe, give me your thoughts on this.
I mean, they're leading the division right now, and obviously small sample size, but I mean, we are about 10% of the way down with the season. So they have been putting out a good effort. And when I look at the standings, they're 1 game ahead of the Cavs. It's really the Cavs and them that seem to be the main drivers here. Obviously, you have Chicago playing pretty well, but their advanced metrics are not great. And Milwaukee, they're just a Giannis team. And I don't if Giannis misses any time, I think that's just going to be too much for them to kind of deal with or, break through. So when I look at Detroit, though, I think they're a well-coached team. I think they've got a chip on their shoulder. They performed really well last year. And now the defense is legit. The defense is the 3rd best defense in adjusted defensive rating in the league. They're top 10 in overall adjusted net. And while the offense hasn't necessarily gelled there yet, This is like a little bit of a smash mouth team. You have Cade Cunningham, and then Jaden Ivey still, we've yet to see him. Plus, they've got a lot of pieces and a lot of tradable contracts, I think, to get supplementary or complementary players. They're specifically a team that does not need a primary player joining this team. They could use some other pieces to maybe gel into this lineup. And I think they're deep. I think they have a lot of continuity from last year to this year. Obviously, they're dealing with the Isaiah Stewart injury from a couple days ago, but you still have Jalen Duren playing like a monster. So I think this is a really good team. And I think the number is just too long when we see Cleveland. Obviously, Darius Garland's back. They're getting to be healthy now. But I think that, you still see some things with Cleveland where you're like, well, like, is this going to work? Are they going to be as good as they were last year? And I think there's a little bit of an opportunity for them to slip. So I think the number at 5-1 for Detroit to win the division at this point is just a little bit too long. So I like Detroit at 5-1.
So I saw the Cavs like way high up in the win total projection. They've been really inconsistent to me, which is interesting and a little not concerning, but just like notable that they are not like every night is not, oh man, what a wagon. And I do have the Pistons up to 52 wins now projected. Like, I'm very high on Detroit and think that there's a good chance that they're going to be within range of this. And that's all you really got to do here is just like be within range. If that happens, then you're going to have an opportunity to go ahead and grab it. If something, if the Cavs just go through a period of struggle, if we just use this season's numbers, I do actually come out with the Pistons as the division winner. And that's, the Bucks, I think, are actually really good too, but I have I have Detroit right now as the highest power rated team if we just use this season's number. So if we're just like, look, the last year's last year and your priors or whatever, let's like, this is the basketball that's been played for all 9 games, then I actually come out with the Detroit Pistons as the best bet to take the Central Division plus 500. Brian, what do you think?
The thing that I'm worried about for Cleveland in this division is it's difficult for them to maneuver if something does happen during the season.
Yeah.
Because of their cap situation, because they're above the second apron. The Pistons don't have that issue. They also have, as Joe mentioned, the tradable contracts. Duncan Robinson is on a 3-year deal that's really like an NFL contract because you can get out of that. You can get out of that after this year if you really, really want to. So you can kind of function it as an expiring contract at $16.8 million. Not that they should trade him or whatever, but that's something you can play with. Tobias Harris is an expiring $26.6 million. Unfortunately, Tobias, you're going to be part of these conversations for a lot of people who are probably trying to send Lauri Markkanen into this team in particular, even though I agree with Joe. I don't know if they need something that seismic, but they can do it. Like, they have the resources to do it if they wanted to get that ambitious. Isaiah Stewart, who I would say don't trade, $15 million for the next 3 years. Well, this one and 2 more. Karis LeVert's at 14 and then 15 next year. Jaden Ivey's on an expiring. We haven't even seen him yet. He was playing really well last year. He was my most improved player pick for this year before he got hurt, and I picked the wrong Piston because it looks like Jalen Duren's already an all-star this year, looking at his production. And I'd said before the year, I like the Pistons over, and I thought they could be a 50-win team and a top 4 seed because it felt like Cade was going to take a step up and that they were going to have a second all-star in their team. I was looking at Ivy based on what we saw last year before he got hurt and the 3-point shot looking legitimate. And now Jalen Duren has taken a massive step up, and he's going to be due a contract extension after this year, which is going to be interesting. And then you still have Asar Thompson. You still have Ron Hollow. Like, you have good – we saw this in the Knicks series. You have good players you can play in a playoff series for something, like for defense, for shooting, for this, for that. Like, they have a level of toughness to them too. Like, they're going to take this seriously. So I think they'll probably be more motivated to win a lot of games, whereas Cleveland's kind of been there, done that from a regular season standpoint, even though they have something to prove in the playoffs. So I love it because they also have more flexibility than these other teams. In Milwaukee, I agree. I have the same reservations. It's Giannis or bust, and it's just a lot that I have to rely on. Although Ryan Rollins has been like unexpectedly like good this year. So they need more of that, but I don't know if they have enough to keep up with both of these other 2 teams we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Detroit, their biggest thing is they don't take a lot of threes, and that's I think it's good in a way for like what we're trying to say. Like the floor is there. The offense I think is pretty effective even without taking the three pointers, which is I think important that they can generate offense in that way. But I do think it limits their ceiling like a little bit. And I think that maybe that's the piece that they can kind of go out there and get. I think like honestly, that's what they're missing in not having Malik Beasley is there's no 3-point volume because Duncan Robinson, as good as he is from beyond the arc, it's not exactly the same. It's there's some more defensive issues, I would say. Malik Beasley was honestly unbelievable last year for them from the 3-point perspective. So I think unless they can replace that with something, which is ideally what my brain went to when I'm thinking about these contracts, that would limit their ceiling. But still, 5-1 I think is good. And again, like kind of like you were mentioning, Brian, with Cleveland, their roster is really like their roster. Like they don't have a ton of other options in terms of what they can do. They pulled in DeAndre Hunter, but I still think that this team is going to have trouble hitting their ceiling without kind of graduating Evan Mobley into the 5 consistently and like all the time. And that's a Jaren Allen issue though.
I think the Cavaliers still have a gear they can get to, but I also think that this is probably worth a look here at 5-1. So Pistons Central Division is our official Buckets future of the week. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Brian, Jalen Durham was 100-1 in preseason, right before season tipped. He is now 25-1 at DraftKings.
Still
25-1. The reason is, like, I will tell you, like, Josh Giddey's plus 300, and we probably need to take a position on Josh Giddey. I understand you may not like it, but like, he's doing the thing. Like he's getting triple doubles.
He's gonna be an all-star at this rate.
Yeah. And the Bulls are good. And he's gonna have more touches. Now Kobe's coming back. Maybe that changes some things. But yeah, most improved right now. Plus 300 for Josh Giddey. Ryan Rollins is 9-1. That's not. Do not.
That's one I thought about, but that's too short. I think that
he's not gonna be an all-star. He doesn't fit the profile.
Right.
Denny Avdi is 12-1. Denny's numbers are really good, but no one seems to be noticing.
Right.
Portland,
like everyone like
problems. Like
well, it's like, and I will tell you, I personally do not think Portland's good.
He also is like not a flashy player either. Like it's just.
I thought you would like Portland. The way that they've come out.
So the key you have to understand is I like real defense, not smoke and mirrors.
Whatever this is.
No, they're good. No, they're good. That's a joke, Portland. I'm kidding with you. But look, in season, I have them at 35 wins. That's not my priors. That's just like plug some numbers in and see what it spits out. I have them at 35 wins.
What's Jaime Jaquez for most improved player?
30-1. Yeah, 30-1. I talked about him last week, and I was like, I don't know. Like they're gonna get Hero back. I just wonder how much usage he's gonna be able to kind of sustain. The guy that I think is interesting on this chart is like Keontae George is 25-1. He's never gonna be an all-star, but I do wonder if we get to a situation where like if they move Laurie, then it's just like
Joe Amen was the favorite, and now he's 30-1.
Yeah, like there's that too.
like we probably like. Giddey and Amen probably need to be buys. I can't get in on Duran just because I love Duran.
I'm surprised you can't get in on Duran.
Well, I was hyping him up last year in the playoffs. Like I think he's so underrated. Like I've been saying the defensive numbers for him. He's incredible. Like he's incredible on both ends of the floor. He's exactly what they need. But
I think the problem for Amen.
Go ahead.
I know. Sorry, I was gonna say I think the problem for Amen is his rebounding numbers came down, probably because they don't need him to rebound in the same way. So his overall numbers don't look as impressive as I think you would want them to. Because like 18, 6.5, 5.5, good, but it's a drop because he was at 14.1, 8.2, and 4 basically last year, and then even the steals have come down. I don't know. I think it makes it tougher, but I mean, it's also been 8 games.
His 3-point shooting, which was already horrendous, went down. He's 5 for 21 this year. Like, that's the other thing about it. If he were just simply making more threes, then this would change the conversation. But
Because
this
he'd
is
probably
why,
be in the 20s then.
yeah, this is why I like them more for like defensive player of the year. Not saying he's a front runner for that right now either, because he is not getting the stocks like he should. But I think Jalen Duren is a real contender for this award. I'm stunned that he's still at 25-1 because he does fit the criteria of like the statistical leap is ridiculous, like a real statistical leap, not, oh, I got more opportunity and my numbers went up. It's like, no, my minutes are a little bit more, but my numbers are a lot better, and I might be an all-star this year.
Yeah, I mean,
like, he can really be an all-star.
That's the trick, is like, can you make enough noise to actually get an all-star bid? Because like right now, I don't know that anybody would blink an eye at Giddey being it. Like, nobody would be like, yeah.
I think you would just look at it like Chicago just plays fast. They don't play a lot of defense, but it's still like he's almost averaging a triple double. Like, it's got to count.
I just think Duren at 25-1 is still worth a shot. Even if it becomes Giddey versus Duren, I think more people would like it. It's a more obvious case, especially if you're a casual observer. Like, yo, Giddey has the ball all the time. He's getting all these crazy numbers, whatever. But I think Duren could at least be in the conversation. Like, maybe he's in that, where they put out the top 3 at the end of the year. I think he can get to that point at the very least. So I think that's worth a flyer for me.
Well, sir, you can go on and log that in the Action Network app at any time. That's a thing that you can do.
I will, when our most improved player function starts working again.
Let's do best bets for the Monday slate.
I could do it manually. I'll do it manually. It's fine.
We'll do best bets for the Monday slate. Bryan will not be going first after that. I'll go first, actually, tonight. I never go first, so I'm going to go first. I am taking Bucks Mavericks under for tomorrow as my 3-star play of the night. This number popped at 229.5 and has been bet up to 230.5. This is ridiculous. There is, even if Giannis doesn't play, which hurts obviously the Bucks defense, this is not an overspot by any sort of stretch of the imagination. I make this game based off of in-season numbers. I'm projecting this all the way down tomorrow at 223.1, which sounds about right to me. Dallas can't score. They struggled to score versus the Wizards. They struggled to score versus the Hornets. Like, they struggle to score versus everyone. They can't score. And there is no reason to kind of think that this is an opportunity for them to get right in this kind of spot. Even if AD suddenly pops up, because he was doubtful for the last game, and I keep waiting for them to upgrade him and for him to start playing. It sounds like that might not be like the wildest idea in the world, is for him to pop up. If AD plays, it's going to even out, because it's like, all right, your offense gets better, but your defense is also going to improve. And the defense is honestly already pretty good. Like, they have a pretty good defense as is. It's not great. It's not as good as it needs to be. It's not championship level. Yeah, he's been upgraded to questionable. So, like, he's close to playing. He may not, but he's close to playing here. And maybe that's why this is moving up, Bryan, is just the AD thing, is like the expectation of him coming in, and then like, okay, he will give baseline production. But I don't know, like the Mavericks, like the Bucks have Miles Turner, and that's not going to slow down AD, but AD usually just goes for 40. Like, he'll go for 25 to 30, but AD goes for 40 when he's facing small teams, which the Bucks are not. Maybe they sit Miles Turner on the back-to-back and then AD smashes and this goes over. But if that happens, how are the Bucks going to score in this spot? I see no reason to kind of think that that's like a likely outcome in this under the game script. As far as the numbers, the Bucks are the 26th ranked over team on the road. So they are the 5th best under team on the road so far this season. Small sample, just letting you know. And Dallas, it will not surprise you, is 30th in overrate at home. They can't even score at home. That's not great. Dallas is 29th in half-court offense. They're only 14th in transition defense. The Bucks are 16th in half-court defense, 12th in transition defense, so they're just like middle of the pack, which is fine. The Bucks do have a great half-court offense, but that's the strength of Dallas. I can't get to any sort of opportunity here where this should be an over spot. I like the under on this at 230.5, no matter what number this gets bet up to. Joe.
No, I like it. I think that when you're looking at this game, you're kind of dealing with some teams that are just struggling to find exactly what their identity is. Obviously, the Bucks, if Giannis doesn't play, that is going to hurt their offense. But then for Dallas, they've just really struggled to get into any type of consistent rhythm, almost regardless of who is on the court. So I like this play. I'm not normally a totals better, but I think I'm definitely going to be tailing Matt on this one.
Now, I might get screwed like I did on Friday with Cavs Wizards, which I had the under on, and Anthony Gill hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer.
We always remember those.
At the buzzer, he hit a 3-pointer in like a 30 bazillion point loss. That was on me though for taking an under on Cup night. That was my bad. That was like it was a bad beat, but I still should have known better than to do that. So there's a possibility this is like a beatdown, whether it's like the Bucks just punt the game and the Mavericks get right with AD and look like world beaters. Never, Nico Harrison is grinning in the corner. See, I told you, or not. But I'm gonna take it. Bucks Mavs under 230.5 is my 3-star of the night. Brian, you can go ahead and make note that this is correlated. This is tangential to your 1-star tonight.
1-star, yes.
Yeah.
Mavs team total under 115.5.
Mm-hmm.
A total that they've gone over one time this year, which was against the Toronto Raptors in a game where they shot 59% from the field. They also shot nearly 40% from three, albeit on like 26 attempts. And they had Anthony Davis for that. But that's the only time that they've gotten this. No one has played more unders in the NBA except for Indiana this year, which will surprise nobody because they're playing Cody Martin and Ray J. Dennis and guys that some of you have forgotten about or never heard of real minutes because they have to. Everybody's hurt in Indiana. Everybody. Hopefully you didn't see their game this past night against the Warriors because, but with Dallas, a lot of the same things you said, Matt, so I won't go too long here. And just to note, like right now, Giannis isn't on the injury report. We'll see. It's the NBA. People pop up at 3 p.m., whatever. Like, don't know. I don't know why Giannis would sit this game. I don't think he should. But especially when, not to disrespect my guys, but you have the Hornets after this on Wednesday. Then you have the Hornets again in a cup game on Friday. I feel like Giannis could sit one of those if you really want to sit him a game this week. Maybe it's not this one. But with Dallas, the offense just hasn't, even when Anthony Davis has been there, it hasn't really been there. Like the offense hasn't. Like he's played a few games. It's not like he's making his season debut. He's been out there and he's gotten his numbers. The offense is still really clunky. They don't have a true floor general. Real point guards still matter. They don't have a true initiator. It's not going to be Anthony Davis either, but like it doesn't have to be out of necessity. And Milwaukee, they're not like an awesome defensive team, but they're fine. They're okay. They're like basically middle of the road in the NBA. I think they're 17th in defense right now at the time we're talking about this. We'll see where the numbers are in the morning. But yeah, I agree with all the things you said, Matt, in terms of why this should be an under. But I think for Dallas more specifically, 115.5. I mean, the resume to this point doesn't suggest that they're going to get over that unless some weird things happen or they just have another outlier performance as they did against Toronto earlier this year.
Joe, I'm going to play under Miles Turner, 19.5 points and rebounds, under 230.5, based off of trying to get ahead of the AD news. He may not play. I have no insight into whether AD is going to play or not, but him being upgraded to questionable is enough for me.
Yeah, and I mean Turner is also not just he's just not really a great rebounder. So
Right.
I think that this gives you a little bit of optionality in terms of there's two ways to kind of get there. Especially the way he's kind of used defensively. I think that this is fair to kind of add in here in terms of correlation.
Okay. Joe, what's your 3-star play of the night?
So I'm going to be grabbing Mark Williams over 22.5 points plus rebounds. I think it's a great spot. The Suns face off against the Pelicans on Monday, and they have to go back to life without Jalen Green, which is just like what it was a game ago. So it's unfortunate that he got hurt again, but it does give us a lot of, we're kind of dealing with the same data. He came back for one game on limited minutes, and then, he pulls his hamstring. So we're in a little bit of a same situation again here. So Mark is averaging 13 points, 9.6 rebounds per game this season, basically exactly in line with this 22.5 PR line. But this is just a great matchup for bigs. And obviously he's not Wemby, but Wemby went 18-18, Gafford 15-8, Hartenstein 14-14, Zoo 14-11, and Jokic 21-12. That's not even from the whole season. This is in the last week and a half. Like every center has gone out and just destroyed them. So Mark's hit this line in 3 straight games, and I think now this is an awesome plus matchup against the Pelicans defense. So I'm going to grab over 22.5 points plus rebounds.
Have they gone back to starting Messi? I missed it.
I think so. Like he's been kind of like in and out. But let me see what they did last time. Either way, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you don't need to that does not need to move things.
but let me see. Let's see what the last one they played was.
No Zion to draw fouls.
They did not.
No, they started Looney last game.
Yeah, the last 2 games, it's been Fears, Bay, Herb Jones, Looney, and Trey Murphy.
Granted, I think Messi didn't play that games either. So
I like all those players, but yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
I mean, I'm never gonna argue with you on Mark Williams over. I'm just never gonna
my guy. It's our first one of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's time.
It's time. It's time to go back to the Mark Williams well. Bryan Fonseca, what's your 3-star play of the night?
Well, this is a play correlated with Joe, one that we did not discuss it until we did. We're both on Evan Mobley, over 17.5 points that popped up. I think this is going to move fast. So if you can find a 17.5, I would recommend it. This is a very favorable matchup against the Miami Heat team, who is not expecting to have Bam Adebayo yet, as we mentioned. So that's really the key here is Bam's not there. So you have a rotation with one center who is a very talented yet inconsistent Khalil Ware, who can put up numbers, but could be better about limiting you from getting numbers. And Evan Mobley, the thing that I do worry about is there is going to be a big rebound spot for somebody. If you look at even the Hornets game, the Hornets out-rebounded the Heat 57-37 despite losing by 18 points. And against Portland, which is the Heat's most recent victory. By the way, the Heat were underdogs, and I hit Heat money line at plus 144. We're back 3-0 with Heat money line this year. Portland out-rebounded the Heat 57-47. The issue with the rebounds is I don't know who they're going to go to with Cleveland, because it could be a Jared Allen night, it could be an Evan Mobley night, it could be both. That's a difficult thing there. But for the points, you're going to be able to get inside against them. You're going to be able to do all the Evan Mobley things. Evan Mobley himself actually has been hitting this line pretty consistently, 3 straight, and also 5 of his last 6. The under was against the Hawks, and it was mostly a rough shooting night, although they did defend him pretty well. He was 6 for 16 in that game. So for this, it's just a good matchup against a team who's going to play one center and really one big the entire night, because their only other big option without Bam and with Khalil Ware in there is Vlad Goldin, who is a 2-way contract guy, who is honestly a stiff, who I don't expect to see get a lot of minutes this year. So you might see Nikola Jovic at backup 5. You might see Simone Fontecchio at backup 5. And I don't think that should limit Evan Mobley from getting opportunities.
Joe, pile on.
I mean, I think it's a good spot for Mobley. He's consistently gone over this line throughout the course of the season. And when we look at this, I think that they're really going to struggle with Mobley from a matchup perspective. I think that Bam is the exact type of player that you would want to kind of cover Mobley, where you'd say Bam is good enough to kind of just blanket him one-on-one. But here now, I think you're sitting in a situation where Ware does not have the same defensive versatility if you start running Mobley at the 5 and Jared Allen's minutes maybe come down in this spot where you want to start to exploit that Mobley matchup. So I really think it's a good spot for Mobley overall. And honestly, 17.5 points is it's a little light. So I don't have any problem taking this up to, I would maybe look at some plus money alts at 20 plus too. Wouldn't really bother me either. So I like it either way. It's 17.5.
Just trying to think if he's going to be comfortable moving at that pace. He should be fine.
Yeah, I think that he's actually like all right in transition, just because like more so than Jared Allen, honestly. I think that he's a little bit faster. He's definitely a little bit more athletic. So I do think that he'd be able to kind of take advantage of it. And especially even on the defensive side of the ball, if Jared Allen starts slowing you down, which it's like entirely possible, I think that they should feel very comfortable running Mobley at the 5 in like from a defensive perspective too.
Yeah, and then Donovan Mitchell might have his hands full with, his long lost brother, Davion Mitchell, who is not related to him, but also wears number 45 and is a D Mitchell. Explain that one to me. But like, not that he's going to have, an off night, but I do think with Matt didn't like that one. I do think with Donovan Mitchell, this could be a game where Cleveland plays through Evan Mobley because of the lack of size that Miami presents. And because of the pace, like Miami's generating 7-8 more like just possessions this year than they were last year. So there's going to be more opportunities for the other team too. I mean, Portland, who had a highly rated defense, and so did the Heat, by the way. That was the game that went 136 to 131 a few days ago. You know what I mean? So like there probably will just be points in all these Heat games, especially if Bam isn't there.
So here's one, because my next question is, how does he do against zone? Last season, when facing zone, Evan Mobley averaged 1.25 points per possession.
It's nasty.
1.21%. He shot 67% from the field versus zone defense last season.
I think that checks out though, because he's skilled enough and, he's a good enough shooter where, he gets that little bit of sag and he's going to put the shot up. He's not, he's not necessarily the most aggressive player. It doesn't need to be, but that's a shot that they want him to take. It's a shot that the Cavs like. So I think it's a good spot.
That's Kenny Atkinson's history. He wants his 4s and 5, like he wants them to be able to shoot. So he's going to, and I think his 3s are going to fall. I don't think last year was bullshit. He's a good shooter. It's his 3. He's at 31% now. He's at 37 the last couple of years. Those are going to fall.
Okay. I'll wrap up with my 2 of my 1 stars. I'm going to take Suns minus 7.5 in line with our Mark Williams play. So we actually have like a lot of same game parlay opportunities tonight with we do future of the week, but we could have done a couple of same games on this. For the Suns, they're playing the Pelicans. It's 7.5. I make it 10.5. Let me make sure that number is right in the market and make sure that I'm not fabricating something off my poll. It's 8.5 now, so it's getting steamed. I still like it. I like it to anything under 10. This Phoenix team basically was trash, and when they were not starting a center, and then they started a center, and it's not just starting. I've said this before. It's not just starting the center. It's that Ott started Mark Williams and said, "Oh, I need a forward who can space to compensate for that." So he started Royce O'Neal, and now it's like you have shooting, you have offensive engine in Devin Booker, who is I haven't checked it lately, but is at least top 5 for potential assists per night. He is an absolute playmaking machine right now. He knows how to get these guys going. He's getting good minutes from a lot of guys. Jordan Ott's coaching his face off. Like, this team is not good, but they're decent and have covered 4 or 5. And the Pelicans, simply to me, without Zion, Trey had a really good game the other night, which kind of concerns me. I do not want to see him get going if I'm betting against the Pelicans, because he's their only real threat. But New Orleans continues to play like they just simply do not. Even when they play well, it's more of an accident. It's like, oh, hey, like, we're competing. Let's go ahead and try and win it. Like, it's a surprise. Versus the Suns are very, like, this is a serious basketball team. So I will take the serious basketball team minus 8.5 for my 2-star. And on my 1-star, I'm going to take the Detroit Pistons here versus the Washington Wizards minus 11.5 in the market. So bet the over on the Wizards. Still have hope we can get there. Not a lot, but still have hope we can get there. Basically, I've been making it up by fading the Wizards again whenever they're facing anybody with a pulse. The Wizards are going to compete versus teams that are bad, struggling, lost. They are going to get killed by any team that's serious. And the Detroit Pistons are very, very serious right now. I make this 17. I make it 17. That's how bad the Wizards are. I make it 17 with priors and based off of this season's numbers. So from that perspective, I have to be on it. It's a lot of points. Detroit's on a back-to-back. I get it. But there's a couple of signals coming off of the Wizards playing the Mavericks. Teams are 3-6 after playing the Mavericks this season. ATS. They're a drag. I think it's because you look at them and then you're just like, oh, I'm sad now. You made me sad playing you. That's what the Mavericks do. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the Pistons here minus 11.5 versus the Wizards. Bryan Fonseca, what are your 2 and 1 star plays? You already said your 1 star.
Yeah, 1 star Mavs, team total under 115.5. 2 star Julian Champagnie over 7.5 points. Who unaffected by De'Aaron Fox's return, was still able to get going on the 8th when they played the Pelicans. He had 14. He only had 7 shot attempts, so I think that's why this number is at 7.5 right now. But I would be surprised if this didn't get up to at least 8.5 before tip off. So he's over this in 4 straight. He's having a solid year. And it was one of those situations where it's like, look, somebody has to go and be the 6th man. But if you're still telling me that he's getting 25, 30 minutes a game, this shouldn't be the number. I just don't think this should be the number. He's averaging 10 this year because he's at around 30 minutes plus. But even in the game where De'Aaron Fox plays, so De'Aaron Fox comes back, he's 31 minutes right away, 24 points right away. Champagnie's minutes dropped from 31 to 26. Not a big drop off. His points went from 22 that game to the 14 that he had the next game against the Pelicans. This is a good spot for him. They're still going to need him to space, regardless of what his role is going to be. If he's only taking 7 shot attempts, like that's the thing that would probably worry me. Although he did supplement that with 5 free throw attempts, and he has been getting to the line consistently because as he's getting his overs, he shot no fewer than 4 free throw attempts per game in any of these last 4 games that he's played. So a little bit of a 3-level scoring element to his game as well lately. So I'm riding the hot hand here, and I just think this number is too low. I think it's over indexing on, hey, he's coming off the bench now, but we'll see.
He was great in that Rockets game. Game. Joe, what do you think of this one?
I like it, and I just like the Spurs kind of offense overall right now with the reintroduction of De'Aaron Fox, and I'm going to kind of piggyback this into my 1 star play because I like De'Aaron Fox over 18.5 points. I think that just having the Castle kind of showed out in terms of his assists the last 2 games, but prior to that, things kind of still feel like a little clunky. And not that Fox is a pass first point guard, but I think that he does open up a lot of other things for his teammates in like a different way. He's able to get his own shot much more consistently. And I think that helps not only him, but I think it helps his teammates as well, based on the defensive respect that the other team has to show him. So to me, I thought the 18.5 points was a little light. He scored 24 in the opener in his first game back, played 31 minutes. And he basically had said he probably would have been cleared to come back like a week, 2 weeks ago or so, but they wanted to take the extra time. Spurs were playing okay and make sure that he was like 100% ready to go. And I think that having him back should help open things up for some of the rest of the guys on the Spurs. So I think this is good for Fox. I think it's good for Champagnie, and I think it's a good opportunity overall for De'Aaron Fox.
It's great. Like, I'm glad to see him back, but man, what a great time for them to get Fox back with Dylan Harper on out. Just absolutely terrific. Okay. Here are your plays, your best buckets, best bets of the night. You can see the graphic at youtube.com/the Action Network. I've got Bucks Mavericks under 230.5, 231.5 now. Suns minus 7.5, now 8.5. Pistons minus 12.5. That one's moved the other way back down to 11.5. Pistons might sit some guys. I'm not worried about it. Bryan Fonseca likes Evan Mobley over 17.5 points. Julian Champagnie over 7.5 points. Mavs under 115.5 points. Joe Dellera, Mark Williams over 22.5 points and rebounds. The old reliable. Evan Mobley over 17.5 points. And De'Aaron Fox over 18.5 points. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys being with us. Thanks, David Payne, our producer. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night for more best bets. Till then, let's get buckets.